floor, and that's when Tommy O'Neill finally called a jump ball.
Possession arrow to Iowa. Pass stolen by Recker.
Recker, once again, we talked about the fingertips. Just get a fingertip on it. Remember in the first half, 2 or 3 times, just got a hand on it, but just knocked it out of bounds.
Just travels with it. 19 Iowa turnovers. And now a quick one by Indiana. The Hoosiers lead it by 3. You're watching Big Ten basketball from the ESPN Plus network.
He dishes the ball that time to Maceo, but he's also got some soft hands. Look, comes up with this one. This is a guy that's standing about 300 pounds at about 6'8". And watch the attention. Right there in the center, he allows Maceo Bastion to get this wide open jump shot because the performance is being commanded by the tractor.
That was all in a 30-second span, if you could believe that, last Saturday. Indiana 0-2 in the Big Ten. When was the last time they started 0-3 in conference play? Quinn Buckner, if you can believe that. 71-72, Bob Knight's first year here in Bloomington. Andre Patterson tried to do something about that tonight, as well as A.J. Guyton. The Hoosiers and the Wolverines next.
The new IRA laws have created so many questions for investors. T. Rowe Price created the IRA Analyzer to help answer them. This intelligence...
So maybe Bob Knight goes to the 2-3 zone because he did it to him last year. Indiana beat Michigan twice last year. Look for the zone tonight. The Z word is back.
Well, watch for that. We'll also be tracking this game from the studio. Big showdown in the Big East. Connecticut comes in at 3-0. Miami 4-0 in league. The early 2-point lead for the...
Brian Ellerby. Lewis Bullock, the great shooting guard, alongside Robbie Reed, the transfer from Brigham Young. Maceo Baston up front with Gerard Ward and Robert Traylor. They are all playing better than they ever have in a Michigan uniform. And for Bob Knight in Indiana, the backcourt of Michael Lewis and A.J. Guyton, the leading scorer and assist man, about 16 points, 4 assists per game. The freshman Luke Recker, already a crowd favorite, alongside William Gladness, the junior college transfer, and the senior Andre Patterson, since the transfer of 7-foot Jason Collier, manning the center position at 6'8" and 240. And that means he goes up against 6'8", 300-pound Robert Traylor in the middle. Lewis Bullock with 14 points on Saturday, continuing his hot shooting since a very slow start for him out of the gate. That's 3-point shooting, 66% beyond the arc over the last 8 games, and that is mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling. He really stretches the defense out for Traylor. Traylor, a guy they've got to have on the floor. You see in the 2 games last year, he fouled out of both at 7 points, 5 rebounds. He played a total of 28 minutes. He needs to be on the floor at 28 plus for him to get a victory here.
Jody Sylvester, Sam Licklider, Tom Clark, the officials. Patterson controls the tap. Indiana at 9-5 overall, and a 2-game Big Ten losing streak to begin conference play. That followed a 6-game winning streak in which it looked like they had it going. Patterson missing the hook.
Can I tell you the positive thing for the Indiana fans is Patterson took the ball to the basket a little bit. They need that.
An aggressive start from Andre Patterson, the senior out of Abilene, Texas. Lewis out crowding Bullock.
Yeah, man-to-man as Indiana normally plays, and they're switching pretty much, leaving Patterson down low.
Taylor looked inside for Baston. Shot clock at 10 for Bullock. And Guyton had him. Now Baston. Patterson, an aggressive start defensively as well. 3 on the shot clock, way outside, and a miss from 3 by Bullock. And touch last by Traylor. Brian Ellerby, after 3 years at Loyola College in Baltimore, named interim coach on October 24th when it was announced that Steve Fisher would not return, just hired by Fisher as an assistant. May 29th, his head's still got to be spinning.
Yeah, and that's what it was earlier. That's why Michigan had some problems losing a couple games. But he's obviously put it together, and he's putting it on the floor and getting it together a little bit. William Gladness going to the glass.
Gladness coming off so far his best game as a Hoosier. 9 of 11, 19 points to lead him in their defeat to Illinois on Saturday, and the Tractor Traylor ties it.
That's a matchup that obviously favors Tractor Traylor. Not if he takes turnaround jump shots, but if he's aggressive going to the glass, there's not much Andre Patterson can do.
Gladness out of Carl Albert State, where he played his JUCO ball in Oklahoma. Native of West Memphis, Arkansas. And he drills another one.
Trying to make Michigan make some decisions as to who they have to guard. Gladness making a jump shot after taking it to the hole early.
Well, Gladness 9 of 11 in his last game. You figure they want to guard him early. Reed crowded, almost tied up by Guyton. Guyton down to help into the air ball by Traylor.
Got a hand on the ball there, Guyton.
Gladness beats everybody up the floor, and it's 6-2. All 6 from William Gladness for Indiana.
Got an offensive foul on Gerard Ward. Luke Recker took it. Watch right here. It'll be number 4 standing right there. See a lot of acting there on the part of Luke Recker, but the official felt that that was too much pushing. I think there's some Academy Awards getting ready to be presented with that one, though.
And that's got to make him a nominee at least. Patterson with a 3, just his 2nd of the season.
This is a good 20-second timeout here.
Andre Patterson was 1 of 7 for the year before this.
Patterson has shown the capability to go and do a lot of things, but all of a sudden they've asked him to step up. He does at the three-point line, knocks that down. You'll see him again. Maceo Baskin goes to help. It was Gladness that he was trying to help Traylor on, because Gladness made the first 3 baskets, and Baskin didn't get back to Patterson.
Andre got to be a little bit pumped up by that start. Indiana 4 of 5 shooting and a 9-2 lead on Michigan.
See, this is a huge game for Indiana. I don't think it's as big a game for Michigan, because Michigan is 2-0 and Indiana hadn't won one. And what they can't afford to do with the tournament coming in this year with 16 games, you can't afford to lose too many home games.
Crowd around Baston to force the steal for Michael Lewis. Michigan building this streak on great inside-outside offensive play, and Indiana ready for that. Gladness' first miss is boarded by Ward.
Gladness missed that one because he tried to avoid a foul. But that's the interior defense with Bastion and Traylor inside.
Shot it outside. Ward will stay there and fire in the 3.
That's who they were looking for when they recruited him as the best player coming out of high school 4 years ago.
Bullock looked like had the Michigan steal and couldn't come up with it. A major key for Michigan so far, the play of Ward, the former Naismith National High School Player of the Year, finally looking like he's ready to live up to the early billing as a senior. Better late than never.
Pretty solid defense here by Michigan. Shot clock's already at 10 seconds.
Recker finds Patterson. Andre again from outside.
Dave, I talked to the coaching staff. They told Andre Patterson this: look, this is your 2nd semester senior. This is your last shot. And they literally told him, as you see the great backdoor pass by Bastion to Lewis Bullock, you got to get 20 shots a game up. And that's why Patterson is taking these shots.
What anybody wants to hear, regardless whether they're a senior. A.J. Guyton's first of the night.
But you know, as a senior, you realize you've got to go out into that other side of the world. Here's your last shot.
Baston crowded by William Gladness, who will get the first Indiana foul. Great start for the Hoosiers. 15:41 of the first. They lead by 6, 13-7 in Bloomington.
This is Dave Wolf in space. Let me look out the window. We're traveling just shy of 18,000 miles an hour, approaching the west coast of Africa. And look forward to seeing you all back on Earth. Have a great game.
I'm pretty sure that is the most distant remote ever commissioned by ESPN. It's got to be a record. 18,000 miles an hour over the west coast of Africa. Indiana Medical School alumnus Dr. David Wolf filing that report.
Well, that's really filing the report. But that's pretty good judgment on how fast you're going, just looking out the window. 18,000?
Try to get it in for Baston, and Gladness there with a hand on it. Travis Conlon, the senior, who Robbie Reed has replaced him as a starter, but certainly Conlon's still a major contributor for the Wolverines, and both teams shooting well. Indiana getting more of them up, though.
Well, they are getting more shots up, but Conlon's in the game because, first of all, he's a little bigger. Second of all, he's a guy that they can put on anybody. He plays 1, 2, or 3 defensively and can stop people. So that's one of the reasons they get him in the game.
Bullock with the soft touch to bring it within 4.
They want Bullock to put it on the floor to make you have to come guard him because he's such a good perimeter shooter.
Traylor having to think about coming out to guard Patterson, who's hit twice from way out. Michigan foul is going to be on a confused Bullock. His first.
Well, we've talked about it at the top, what Andre Patterson has to do as well as Bullock. One of the things it looks as though Indiana obviously wants to do is get Traylor in foul trouble. And so what they've done is anytime Andre Patterson is on Traylor to try to take him to the basket, and if you get contact, I think the officials tend to call fouls on Traylor because he's just so much bigger than everybody else.
Andre Patterson started the season almost perfect from the line. He made 25 of his first 26 free throws, and since then just 13 to 20.
His time has gone up since the transferring of Jason Collier as well. He went from 21 minutes a game to 30 minutes a game to talk about where they had to figure out how to get some more of the production from the IU team.
Well, that really made it a necessity. And to have to do it out of position, I think that's got to be a major factor for him, too.
Well, I would think so, but I think if you look at generally in the league, there's not a lot of real big centers, so you may be able to get away with that for a while.
Baston having a nice offensive year. Couldn't get that one to fall from an odd angle behind the bucket.
Defense pushed him under. I thought Baston has long arms, was able to pull that one back from under the basket.
He does not miss many. He makes 2/3 from the field.
Yeah, literally, ladies and gentlemen, 2/3, 66% of his shots he makes.
Guyton. Conlon up to crowd him as he loses his dribble. Now Gladness out of the double, cutting down low. Recker, and the reach in is Bullock's second.
The thing that Indiana seems to be doing that I don't think they've necessarily done well in the past is they're moving themselves a lot more. And when you talk to Bob Knight about his team, one of the things he says is a little bit of the difference in their first half and second half. You know, you and I have talked about this a little bit. Their second half in their last few games, for sure, Illinois and Iowa have been much more productive in the first half. And he simply says, we move the ball better, we move ourselves better in the second half. He has no idea why that happens in the second half, though.
Nice hand for Patterson as he is replaced by Richard Mandeville. One more for Recker. Out of Auburn, Indiana, the Indiana Player of the Year, who had already committed to IU after his sophomore season of high school. One of the earliest, certainly on record. Turnaround, that's how Baston shoots 67%.
Yeah, but you know what? Before last year, he was mostly a guy that dunked the ball. This year, he's got a little turnaround with him.
Nice job expanding his game, as has Traylor out on Mandeville. Recker right into the double team and travels.
Yeah, good solid defense by Michigan. Take the baseline away, and then Recker had absolutely no way to go. Good job by Brian Ellaby's team.
Michigan a year ago, 24 wins, but too many of them came in the NIT. They, like Indiana, were 9-9, a disappointment in Big Ten play. They did go on to win the National Invitation Tournament. Travis Conlon, 16-13. They cut down the Indiana margin to just 3.
Better than that for Michigan, they weathered the emotional storm to stay here because Indiana was playing on an emotional high. That's an offensive foul. Good defense. You got 2 Wolverines go down. Conlon and Baston. Mandeville out of control.
Not normally something he's called on to do, create his own shot from the top of the key.
Well, given that he's only played on an average about 5 minutes a game, all of it's a little out of character for a guy who's been sitting on the bench that much.
Michigan's record 12-3 and 2-0 in Big Ten play. Their best conference start since '94 when they began 3-0. And they've heated up. 5 of their last 6 have fallen. Within 3, a near turnover. Nice save by Josh Aslin. Freshman has just come in. Of the 3 defeats by the Wolverines, 2 in-state and shockers. To Western Michigan, to Eastern Michigan, both in Ann Arbor. They barely beat Detroit by 1. And they've got Michigan State coming up Saturday.
Yeah, but Western Michigan is coached by Bob Donwall, and Indiana played Western Michigan and only beat them 70-63. So you're not talking about a team that, you know, that's such a surprise. The other thing, Eastern Michigan, with Errol Boykins and Derek Dial, they have two outstanding guards. For example, Dial had 45 last night with 9 threes. So you've got a pretty good team you're playing against there.
The more you know about those two teams, I guess the less shocking those results were. Mandeville with a second quick foul, and right back in comes Patterson. The other defeat for Michigan at Bradley. And a 6-game winning streak coming into Bloomington, where they have not won in 3 years. Both teams with some streaks they would like to see end here tonight. Turnaround, Baston is long.
Don't have a lot of options inside offensively. I mean, Baston can play in there, but they don't necessarily look for him first, and that's what they have to do with Traylor. And they've just got Traylor up to get him back in the game.
This is Rob Turner, junior out of Wilmington, Delaware, on for the first time by way of Tyler Junior College. Patterson, and for the offensive putback, Turner.
Yeah, Turner's normally a jump shooter. That time, no one blocked him out. Able to put it back.
Reed up with nowhere to go, and he lost it to Gladness. Record a finish.
Indiana wants to run before the defense sets up on Michigan. If you notice, every opportunity they get, they run. And Luke Recker just took an offensive charge against Brandon Smith.
Indiana had a lot of success at this last year, particularly against Traylor, drawing the offensive fouls. Record scores, they're up 7. Here's Bob Knight up 20-13, seeing the type play he always asks for.
Yeah, these are effort plays, if you will. And charging was something, as I stepped into their practice session yesterday, that Bob Knight was talking about with his team. Let's see how many charges we can get. They have been trying to do that. That was the whole effort, hustle thing, if you will. That's all a part of it. When Indiana hustles or wins the hustle award, they usually win games. Usually win games. Easy for me to say.
That's so easy to do, though. But they've done it tonight. Great front line scoring. Indiana with a 16-4 imbalance, though, between the front line and the backcourt. Part of that front line, 2 more, Patterson.
I suggest to you, if Patterson keeps taking, he's feeling good now. When you've got Traylor, you got to put it on the floor. He's going to get his team in trouble if he doesn't start going to the basket, because the law of averages is against you on the jump shot.
He has outscored Traylor 9-2, 9-4. Make it. Indiana had its largest lead up to 9, and it's back to 7.
And I like to track it, because when he turns, he pulls all the attention, but he's got a way to finish it, too.
Well, Brian Ellaby described him aptly. He said he is the biggest finesse player I've ever seen. Gladness, nice setup.
Penetration by Guyton.
And 8 for William Gladness, already exceeding his average of just over 7 points per game. Ward with a step on William, but an air ball from point-blank range. Guyton, so far, not looking for his own shot too much. Patterson, yep, fake convinced Traylor, and he's on fire. 11 for Andre Patterson.
Yeah, he's got Traylor where he wants him now. He's parked the Traylor.
Lewis Bullock decides to put an end to that with his first 3.
You got to get out on Bullock. He's 7th in the nation from three-point line in terms of percentage. You got to get out there.
All-time leader for Michigan in threes. Single season record 101, breaking Glenn Rice's mark last year.
Glenn Rice is lighting up in the NBA, so Glenn Rice is the guy that definitely can fill it up.
Well, even the bounces going the Hoosiers' way. That one off Turner. They've hit their last 5 shots. Shot clock down to 8. Guyton.
He can get a shot on his own.
28 feet out. Amazing.
Yeah, Guyton is the only guy on the floor that really can get a shot for Indiana when the shot clock is running down.
There's Jay Guyton, 29-18. 9.5-minute mark of the first half, and Michigan with an over and back, completely out of sync at the moment.
Yeah, all the poise we've talked about, that they've talked about for Michigan, they're not showing now. Andre Patterson being a part of the problem that they have, right there with a nice up fake, take it to the basket. Been able to get Traylor coming all day long, not knowing where to find him. Patterson gets a look. He's been drilling it. He's at this point on Indiana's team 12 of 15.
Hoosiers 12 of 15, and 4 of those buckets, including a 3 by Patterson.
So Michigan has done the thing. They've gone out into a zone instead to try to keep an eye on people, force some jump shots from somebody other than Patterson, but Patterson's out of the game.
2-3, Lewis the up fake, then the double clutch, and another favorable hop for Indiana. And Patterson being checked over on the Indiana bench.
Well, you'll see him right there. He tries to take a charge right here. Gets a little bit of a forearm. I mean, that's a lot of act right there, but he goes down pretty hard. I just thought that was a little bit of an act because I don't think that anybody can hit him that hard. He's 6'8", 240. He's got traction.
Turner to the middle of the paint. Not quite, but he'll shoot 2.
Dave, but they're getting to the paint. That's the problem for Michigan. You take a look at Andre Patterson and the numbers that he's had, and right now sitting on the bench. If you keep allowing that kind of penetration, that's why Tractor Trailer gets his fouls. He's got to come help, or any one of the other big people.
Turner put on the line by the Baston foul, and you look at his numbers, already productive. Former McDonald's All-America in Wilmington.
Jump shooter, can shoot the three-point shot.
Had it going big against Kentucky in their miss for Indiana. 25 points, his best performance so far. Hit 10 of 13 from the field, so that's what Rob Turner is capable of. Conlon back for Reed. Traylor almost lost that one to Gladness. 30-18, Indiana. Biggest lead yet by the Hoosiers.
Michigan likes to run this play. They'll bring it over to Bastion, who was just on the other side.
Gerard Ward, a much improved three-point shooter this year. Not that time. Here's Lewis.
Well, I think most of the fans remember that should go to, yeah, that's right. That's Michigan's ball. Gerard Ward also had knee surgery after his freshman year and his sophomore year.
On 2 different knees.
On different knees. And then that next year, he took a lot of energy trying to get himself healthy again. He is now healthy for a full year. That makes a difference in you shooting a jump shot. And on that play, Bob Knight is wrong.
It happens occasionally.
No, it happens more just occasionally, but he's wrong on that one.
Baston. ACO not able to find the range so far.
And not attacking the glass, which he does well. So they're one shot it out.
1 out of 5 so far for the most accurate shooter in Michigan history. Traveling on Turner. Indiana 6 of their last 7, up 12, their largest lead thus far, 30-18. And with 8 for the Hoosiers, 7:45 in the first half in Bloomington. Indiana up 12, 30-18. They have controlled this one from the outset.
You know, Dave, one of the things they've really controlled is the number of times the Tractors touch the ball. I don't think he's touched it enough, but I think Indiana has done a good job of keeping it away from him. And Michigan, and with Travis Conlon in the game, they've got to get him the ball. He's 2 for 3. So when he gets the ball, he's been able to put it in the basket.
Bullock, that's one way to do it. Thread through the defense, draw them to you, as Bullock did, and then set up the easy 2 for Traylor. Best way to do it, the way they've guarded him away from the ball. 6 for the Tractor, 10-point game. Charlie Miller on for the first time for Indiana. Also in Larry Richardson.
Trying to basically give some people a break. Andre Patterson, we saw, had, I think he got hit on the either rib cage or the hip with an elbow.
Not there on the turn by Richardson. Traylor, quick kick out Ward, and if they hurry, they have 3-on-2 for Michigan. Ward, a stop-and-go drive, can't finish.
That's what Bastion does.
Can't either. Third time for Gerard Ward.
Yeah, that's what Bastion does. He keeps it live on the glass. Very quick jumper.
And a little bit of restlessness at Assembly Hall. 8-point lead.
Part of Indiana's problem now is you don't really know who is the guy that's going to score. You knew Andre Patterson was scoring as a rule. Guyton is the guy that really needs to probably look to score.
Hasn't so far. Reaching in to tie up Lewis was Traylor, and it'll be Michigan's ball.
They've talked to Lewis Bullock about his jump shooting ability, but more so about taking it to the basket as he does right here. You see Richardson come over, and if Traylor gets it there, there's not much you can do at all.
Just hope the backboard doesn't come down on top of you.
Well, he has shattered one backboard in his career, and he's big enough and strong enough to do that easily.
Just over a year ago, in fact. Skip pass finds the open three for Ward. Traylor. Fans wanted him over the back of Richardson. Baston not expecting the pass, and a foul on A.J. Guyton. Well, coming up as soon as we're done here, Georgia hosting Kentucky, and the return of Tubby Smith to Athens, the former Bulldog coach taking on his former squad. That's coming up at 9:30, and it also pits brother versus brother. G.G. Smith still at Georgia, and he'll play Saul, who has followed his dad to Lexington. Michigan getting another slam to get within 6.
Just a defensive lapse on the part of Indiana. And how in the world did you lose Tractor Traylor, who was the one that just put that down, getting his 6 points?
Hard to lose him. Almost impossible.
On this court or anywhere else, he's just too big.
Andre Patterson back to work. Almost got his own miss. Another chance for Michigan to run. Very few of those opportunities so far. Recker. Foot race with Ward, and the backhand finish.
And the backhand finish is critical because Ward has to come over his back to block it. Smart play by the freshman Recker.
Fans took to him immediately.
Because he's an effort player. I mean, he's taken 2 charges. He gets his hand on the ball. He makes plays like we just saw, where he's an intelligent player.
Much better flow now in the half-court set for Michigan. And for Baston, his second basket. Of course, with Maurice Taylor going on to the L.A. Clippers, somebody had to step in and pick up his shots, and so far it's been a combination, really. Baston and Ward both well above what they were a year ago offensively. Patterson now missing his second in a row.
Remember what I told you about that jump shot when he was making it? That's the problem. You get happy with the jump shot instead of putting the ball on the floor where you get Traylor in some kind of trouble. So he's missed 2 in a row now. Unfortunately for Indiana, that was not a fast break that was completed by the Wolverines.
Traylor getting another breather.
Oh, he was tired. Did you even see him?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was pulling on his shorts big.
There's no true center out there for Indiana, and the throwaway by Patterson, missing the connection with Lewis.
Traylor getting a rest, and it's a good move to get him a rest, because what it does is that's when guys tend to foul. And a guy that has foul trouble like he has, you need to make sure he stays fresh.
Recker out. Patterson all over Baston, too much so.
Smart move by Baston, though, too. I mean, when the guy offensively knows if you're crowding, if a guy's crowding, put it on the floor, make him back up, put him at risk for a foul.
Foul is Andre's first. Team fouls even at 5. Travis Conlon all the way to the hoop.
The co-captain of the team, I'm telling you, that's why they feel more comfortable with him on the bench. Travis Conlon started last year, and they made the move. They started Robbie Reed so they can bring Conlon off the bench because they think he gives them a lot. At 6'4", and an offensive foul on Patterson.
Well, things taking a real turn south for Andre Patterson since he returned from the brief injury break. It's a 10-2 Michigan run since they were down by 12. Traylor bringing him back within 4. Michigan coming back now from 12 down.
Well, right here you see had his back turned was Lewis, and then Lewis is told something by Bob Knight, and then he had something to say going the other end. And you can see that Lewis is ticked off, and then Lewis walks away while Bob Knight is talking to him, and Bob Knight grabs him back. And I mean, this is in no uncertain terms, and now you see a much calmer head prevail, but I'm telling you, that was a pretty heated exchange there.
I'm guessing you got to be pretty firm in your position if you're going to take him on like that. You got to know you're right.
No, there's no question about it. I mean, you've got to believe in what you're doing, and I think that's just the way you have to be about it. But it's got to be difficult on anybody to have somebody come at you that way.
Recker, a great look, and Gladys can't finish, and another chance for Michigan to cut into the 4-point lead. Baston open for the alley-oop, but Bullock pulls up and misses the 3.
You make a great call because Baston was wide open, and for whatever reason, Bullock pulls up for a 3.
Conlon with the hustle. And you see the 10-2 run to get back into it for Michigan.
They're going to clean up a wet spot because after Lewis Bullock shot his 3-point shot, he went to the floor and then tried to get up to run back defensively and was not able to do it because he slipped in his own spot. They want to make sure they get that cleaned up.
Did you ever, how should I say this, enter into a discussion like the one Michael Lewis just entered into during a game?
No, mine happened in practice, and I'll tell you what actually happened. It was a play that occurred, and I made a pass to a person that really should have caught the pass, and when I came off the court, Coach Dyke got after me, and after he got done, he said, "Don't look at me in that tone of voice."
Count it for Richardson.
They call that on Traylor. I mean, that's just how I deal with it. I had resolved a little differently. You see Rickard take the shot right here, then the ball will come off the rim, and then you got Richardson going for it, and then the ball comes down again, and Richardson goes again, and you can see on the right elbow, Traylor fouls him.
No 3-point play, but Indiana back up by 6.
They've got to take the ball over to Traylor. I don't think there's any chance that Richardson can really guard it.
Reed, his first good look, and he nails the 3.
And that'll stretch the defense.
First points for Robbie Reed, a 48% shooter beyond the arc. Reed, as Michigan fans are aware, coming after his father was dismissed as the head coach, Roger Reed of BYU, and following a 2-year Mormon mission to Greece. So he is a 23-year-old junior.
Yeah, and Brian Ellaby actually knew about Robert Reed. One of the first things that Steve Fisher said to Brian Ellaby when he got there was, look, we've got to get a point guard. And Ellaby knew about Reed, who was in Greece on the mission, and that's how he gets Reed to come to Michigan.
Reed inside, and Traylor being fouled by Richardson. Coming up on the courtyard by Marriott halftime report, we'll hear again from Chris Fowler and Digger Phelps. They'll check in.
Jim Herrick has gotten that team playing pretty well. They just beat Temple the other day.
Traylor just 59% from the free throw strike this year.
You're reading my mind because I think that's the thing that he's got to figure out a way to really become better at. He's going to get fouled as he shoots Michigan's first foul shot.
And he figured out a way to make both of them. So as close as they've been since 2-2. 34-33 Indiana. Lewis back from his discussion.
Well, obviously with some meeting of the minds at some point, he's back in the game.
The Michigan run is 15-4. Indiana going cold after a red-hot start. This is just like that. Breaking out was Conlon. Turner back to defend, and Lewis with eyes in the back of his head.
Makes a great point, because you're right. His back is turning, and he just looks up, and Baston is reaching for it, and Lewis just reaches up and just looks in his eyes, almost like a defensive back. I mean, a defensive back plays this way. As you see the miss here, and the ball goes back on the other end. Lewis just reads the receiver's eyes and see that he's got his hands up.
And no pass interference.
No pass interference at all. No harm.
Conlon. And the offensive foul. They're going to get a clearing elbow call on Traylor.
That's one of those fouls that Traylor gets because he's a bigger player.
This one was not real obvious.
That's what I'm saying. Because watch, there's a bump. There's no doubt. See what I'm saying? There's a bump.
What was obvious was Lewis bouncing off Traylor.
Yeah, that's what's obvious. There's some contact. Traylor does have to give some, but the official felt that the extra effort was with the arms afterward. But I think that's one because he's so big that they'll make that call against him.
His cross to bear. He has already, though, played more, had a bigger impact in this first half than he did in either game of this series last year when he fouled out of both. And in fact, in this game in Bloomington, 1 rebound before he fouled out. The other interesting thing about his misadventures against the Hoosiers last year, 6 of those 10 fouls were offensive.
Well, I think that's partially because at times the Hoosiers feel that he gets a little bit out of control. I think he's a little more poised. Tough shot.
Reed, when he gets that hair flying, looks like he's out of control, even on fairly makeable shots. Indiana still up by 3, still very cold, though. They've missed 8 of their last 10.
They don't have either Guyton or Patterson in the lineup.
And Richardson will rebound to Baston, 44 seconds.
Here's something that Michigan has got to better at. They'll be patient. That's 3.
Reed, a good setup by Conlon, comes up short. Ward sneaking in for the follow. No. Turner with 24 seconds, fouled by Gerard Ward.
Boy, I thought that Reed was going to make his shot. Ward has the easy look that he doesn't put down and comes down wrong. Tough rebound there by Turner, and he gets the foul. If I'm Brian Ellaby, I'm hoping that my players know, hey guys, we don't have to, take any tough shots at that sequence of the game. Get ourselves a good look. I think, frankly, given the circumstances, that Brian Ellaby has done a very good job. Just get these guys to get themselves together. They had a late coaching change, so they struggle a little bit in some of the early games, Western Michigan, Bradley games that you talked about. Since then, they've been in pretty good shape.
Well, since then, they've been annihilating people on this 6-game winning streak. Average margin to win 27 points per game. That's against people like Syracuse mixed in there. 6 seconds. Reed. 3 seconds. Ward just in time and fouled, and 0.2 of a second left in the first half with Ward heading to the line.
That is a good offensive move, but I'm telling you, this is a bad defensive play. I don't care what you're thinking about. This is a freshman move. You've got a guy out in the perimeter, and you let him beat you. Ward showing some savvy, and there's no question about the foul with 0.2 of a second. If he's got you beat at that point, you can't do anything but let him go.
Lecker didn't do it. One more for Ward, and Michigan can go in down maybe only 1. Gerard about halfway to his average. He has doubled his career production this year, from 6 to better than 12 points per game. 1 of 2, and it's Indiana 36-34. They haven't trailed. Andre Patterson's made sure that. Went out with bruised ribs midway through the first half and lost his accuracy after he came back. 10 for Traylor. He paces the Wolverines, but they're down by 2, 36-34, as we return you to the studio and Chris Fowler.
They decided to get that lead. Tractor Traylor decided to get in the post, and as you saw, Robbie Reed made that big 3, and then he went inside the Traylor, 5-point turnaround, and then Traylor so used to getting that right block. Lewis finally beat him to the block, got the offensive foul put on the bench. The second half, to me, is still the Traylor show, what they do with the Tractor.
Well,
inside.
His troubles against Indiana well documented. He hasn't been on the court very often in the second half against the Hoosiers.
Barnett and Quinn Buckner, so really reason for optimism either way.
Yeah, I think so. I think on the part of Michigan, they stayed close in what is an emotional game, a chance to win a game on the road. I think Indiana has to feel good. They were able to hold Michigan off. Michigan coming back hard. Indiana not able to score when Andre Patterson was not aggressive to the basket.
Andre Patterson had a great start, hitting from everywhere, and then sustained some bruised ribs as he took an elbow from Travis Conlon. Sat a while. They were up 6 when that injury happened. They are now up by just 2.
Yeah, and as we talked about, he was so much more aggressive at the start of the game, and that aggressiveness has gone away, and it started to leave even prior to him getting hurt. He has to continue that, but as I said, Michigan, when you're playing on an opponent's floor, and you're in a 2-point game, you've got to feel good about what your opportunity is.
Both teams shot well, especially Indiana. 54% rebounding edge of 4 by Michigan. They have been a dominating rebounding team by 10 boards per game so far this season. Difference from the line where Indiana was 6 of 10. Michigan got there for only 4 and made just 3. The Tractor 10 points. Only Michigan player in double figures. Patterson likewise for Indiana with 11.
Bigger issue for Michigan. Tractor only has 2 fouls. That's what's important.
Patterson back to work the way he started tonight.
Yeah, they made a switch actually because Gerard Ward was out there on them. So the coaching staff from Michigan, I think, makes a good move that time. Try to get Patterson away from Traylor.
Recker scrambling back after the gamble. Long 3 by Bullock.
And I mean, once he gets his feet set looking at that basket, I don't care how far away it is, he can stroke it.
7 threes in this game here a year ago. Almost won it single-handedly for Michigan. That's his second tonight. He has 10. Lewis trying to keep Patterson happy with the feed. Soft touch, but it wouldn't fall. And now Michigan with a chance for their first lead.
Got to go to Tractor. You just got to throw the ball to him.
See how those ribs really feel for Patterson. Baston crashing the offensive glass and tied up by Patterson.
But again, that's what Baston does for the team. He's a quick jumper, gets to the ball. Patterson thought he had a shot at it, but Baston's just able to get over there. You see inside, Traylor get it. Shoots it a little short out of nowhere. Baston was coming for the dunk. Missed it, but was able to go up quickly. Jump ball, Michigan. Hey, switch.
Not there, and the rebound by Recker.
But a well-executed play. I mean, you get a wide-open shot like that, you just got to knock that one down. They set a pick on the downside.
Both teams missing some open chances here early second half. Patterson cutting to the hoop. Recker, the extra pass for Gladness, and that won't go. Second chance won't either.
I mean, he's missed about 4 though. 4 layups inside. It has to be due a little bit to the pressure that Michigan is putting on him.
Bullock hits the leaner, and the Wolverines on top for the first time tonight.
And Bullock is going to work. Got the hard head on.
He got the same speech that Patterson got. You got to throw him up.
Yeah, he needs to. With his range. That's who I expect. I expect A.J. Guyton to come alive because in the first half, he only had 5 points, and he took 2 shots, and he made them both.
A.J. a terrific series against Michigan. And Traylor turning on Patterson counted.
What great footwork that was. I mean, he gets that. I mean, and he's in position to make any kind of move he wants. He gets the ball, and Patterson tries to get in position. Look at the inside. He goes inside, takes a step. Patterson jumps early. Just too much power from there. I mean, this is a strong move. Watch him look inside. The defense moves. Patterson, where are you?
Picking up his 3rd foul is where he was, and Ward going after the missed free throw. Michigan ball tied at 41. Baston spins on Gladness, who comes down with it. You see Traylor do things that seem impossible for a guy with his build.
And the reason he can do it is he's got very good footwork. Oh, he had him inside. When you make a move and get in the paint, I think you've got to look at it.
Patterson floating 3, the 3-pointer, his second tonight.
Maybe he's kind of an early guy. He likes it early in the first half, early in the second half.
Where it's been tonight for him, 16 for Patterson. Now Baston wanting to work again on Gladness.
He can get where he wants to.
Gladness out of basically no other defensive option, forced to reach in and commit his second.
Yeah, I mean, because he can't hold position. One of the things is you look at Baston, and I remember seeing him as a freshman, he was very slight. Actually, he was built very much like Gladness and didn't have much definition. If you look at him now, when he folds his arms a little bit, you see a little definition. So he's stronger than Gladness, and that's why he was able to get inside, and Gladness had no choice but to foul.
Maceo Baston set at some point this year to join 2 of the greats in Michigan history with 1,200 career points, 700 rebounds, and 100 blocks. Roy Tarpley and Chris Webber, the only other Wolverines to hit all those notches. Traylor on the offensive glass, with the second chance for Michigan to tie it at 44.
And he's just put Andre Patterson under the basket.
Guyton, the open three.
If you remember, ladies and gentlemen, Guyton got 31 against Michigan the last time they played.
Recker went up and got a hand on it. Stop and go drive. A.J. Guyton the pull-up.
Strong rebound, foul on Ward.
This will be 3 on Gerard Ward.
But that's because A.J. Guyton forces the action. This is Bob Knight trying to say that Robert Traylor is pushing off on the post. Looked to me like he's had pretty good position.
Michigan wanted to get Josh Aslan, the freshman, in for Traylor. I'm fairly pleased with Aslan's play so far. 6'11", 215. He will need to get on the Traylor diet at some point.
Well,
a little poundage.
If you mean he needs to go to the weight room, I agree with you. I don't know if he want to be on the Traylor diet.
Steady diet of iron. And he quickly picks up his first personal.
I mean, one of the reasons that they like Luke Recker is because of his overall play. He blocks that shot. This is the freshman. He blocks the shot. First half, he takes 2 charges. He simply seems to know just how to play and do a lot of the little things that you need in order to win games.
And all the high school All-America list already has been the MVP of the Indiana Classic and the all-tournament selection here in the Hoosier Classic. So he wasted no time contributing right from the get-go as a starter.
Well, they think that Indiana may have a back-to-back freshman of the year. Last year they had A.J. Guyton, and this year they've got Luke Recker, so they may have a chance for 2.
Recker reaching in, almost coming up with it. The baseline shot not there for Ward, and Patterson clear.
Patterson goes gets a tough rebound, which is rare.
Guyton. Patterson, can he hit another one from 3? Andre Patterson had 1 3-pointer for the year before tonight, and he's got 3 already in this one. Recker running down the Lewis pass. Turned on Conlon, got the reach.
Now, in those kind of situations, Luke Recker is really at his best. Conlon picks up his first foul, but you got to have energy. Luke Recker gives this team a lot of energy.
Andre Patterson has 19 to lead Indiana. They're up 7. Team struggling on the road. Number 18, Michigan, down by 7. Andre Patterson's previous best game this season was 17 points, and with 15 and a half minutes still to go already, he has 19.
Indiana has been on a 7-0 run in the last minute, 10 seconds, and Patterson's been a big part of that. Good pass.
Back outside for Lewis.
They got Patterson for that foul. He does 4th.
That is number 4 on Andre Patterson.
Yeah, he picks up. He's trying to get A.J. Guyton open. Picks up his 4th foul, and Bob Knight's got a decision to make with 15 minutes to go. Patterson has been the guy that's pretty much brought the team back. He's got to make a decision, and I don't think there's a choice. You got to take him out.
Which he will do with Larry Richardson getting set to come on. Ward. And I think a Luke Recker foul here. His second. Indiana against Illinois Saturday down 22 points. They came back big. A 28-6 run to tie it at 69. Shot 65% in the half. In this second half, mostly from Patterson, a similar start.
Yeah, and actually in the Illinois game, as you said, they tied it up. Had the ball with about 11 seconds to go and just didn't get a very good shot off. So they've been able to play good second half. Did the same thing against Iowa in the loss here.
And another one on Recker, who went after the bullet shot. So now Luke Recker's got to watch himself a bit.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart foul. Because I'll tell you why, you've got to reach across the body. You'll see he's got to reach across to come and get it because he's moving away. Well, I'll tell you what, that's all ball. I mean, he came across, but that replay showed all ball. No instant replay in basketball, man.
Louis Bullock hardly ever misses free throws. 95% for the year. The most accurate free throw shooter in Michigan history. 85% for his career. And he had a string of 20 in a row end right there.
7th in the country from the foul line.
String going the other way now. Tapped out to Reed. Woo. Bullock tries to make up.
Oh, they just got Traylor.
3. Traylor with a push. And that's his third.
Well, I thought that was a pretty good rebound because it looked to me as though he just went straight up. You see Brian Ellaby is trying another fashion now. The no jacket look.
That looks good on it. Yeah, it works. Not everybody can wear suspenders. Traveling. Guyton thought he was fouled. Indiana turns it right back over.
The Indiana bench is claiming that he got pushed as he turns the corner. He gets the ball and turns the corner. It's hard to tell from that position whether or not Conlon did indeed push him.
Conlon unable to get past Guyton.
So I tell you, I'm going to do everything I can to throw that ball to Traylor.
Traveling, giving it right back.
What Indiana's been able to do defensively is they've tried to stay extremely aggressive on the ball. You see, it's very difficult to make a pass when somebody's on you like Michael Lewis is on Louis Bullock. And when Bullock tried to make the pass, he had to throw it in a bad position, and Traylor traveled coming up with it.
5 Indiana field goals this half. 4 of them are threes. Guyton has 2. Patterson has the other 2.
And that's why Conlon is on Guyton, because they want to make sure he doesn't get away, and Conlon is the stopper.
Shot clock becoming a factor. Lewis. Richardson will try the 3. Air ball just in time. Was Gladness's follow.
Bad block out on the part of Robert Traylor.
I'm telling you, 34 seconds of terrific defense goes by the wayside.
Now, this is pretty good officiating here. There was an opportunity to call a foul on both Richardson and Bastian because they both were hitting each other a little bit with elbows. The officials decided to talk to them to calm them down in an emotional game instead of calling a foul.
20-second timeout called by Michigan. Here's some of the pushing.
You'll see right there in the post, both of them pushing. You see little elbow pull back there on the part of Richardson. And if I'm Bastian, I do exactly the same thing. A guy puts his elbow on you, you got to get him off you. You must not let someone do that to you.
Indiana on a 9-0 run. Michigan fighting from 12 back in the first half. Tied it at 44. Haven't scored since.
Dave, that poise is being tested by Michigan. Remember the poise that Ellaby talked about at the top of the show? They're being really tested with it right now.
Traylor and a feathery touch. 16 points for the tractor trailer.
Yeah, they were 0 for 4 on their last 5 trips, and they had a turnover just prior to that, so they were struggling to get something going.
Game of streaks. Hoosiers have the one in progress at the moment. Guyton.
Oh, good take.
Great. 360. Everything but the finish. And it's Gladness just a hair ahead of Reed for the loose ball.
I mean, I'm looking at Brian Ellaby, and I'd be really disappointed because he knows that's a rebound you got to come up with. I think Larry Richardson has proven taking that shot from out there may not be the thing you want to do just yet.
Reed is first. And both teams piling up the fouls. They have 5 apiece, and it may come down to free throw shooting. We have a long way to go and almost have the bonus in effect. Patterson sitting with 4 and 19 points.
Showing some good patience is Indiana, but I like the defense of Michigan. I like where they are.
Richardson, and he turns on the baseline.
And he makes a heck of a shot, and he's got to make it over Traylor, and Traylor couldn't afford to foul. That's why he didn't really attack Richardson.
Richardson Richardson called on for some major minutes here. Sophomore out of Orange Park, Florida, with a foul play Patterson.
They wanted to play Mandeville on Traylor because Mandeville is such a bigger body, but obviously Richardson is a lot more active.
Not there on the three by Conlon. And Richardson rebound. Indiana by 9. They get the hook by Gladness. Back up double figures. A very big Michigan possession here. Crowd at Assembly Hall on their feet and roaring. And the foul on Larry Richardson for Indiana, his second.
Who's getting some extended minutes here is Larry Richardson. He only averages about 7 minutes a game, but he's been very effective in his guarding down on the block. But right here, you see finishing it off is Patterson.
Where the tractor trailer's parked for the moment with 16 points, getting a breather. Aslan manning the low post. Ward.
Well, they got it in drive because they got the trailer off.
Gerard Ward, everything but the finish there. Beautiful slice to the basket. But it's still Indiana by 11, and they can get their largest lead of the game here. We were tied at 44 when things shut down offensively for Michigan.
Yeah, and this is the point where Michigan has to know that Indiana plays well when they're ahead, particularly at home. So this is where your defense has to come alive for the Wolverines.
And they play well in general in second halves this year. Shot clock winding to 5.
That's where they want the ball.
Wide open, Richardson. Gladness. Another gift offensive rebound.
Got away with a push, too. I mean, he pushed Bastion in the back.
A couple of these long Indiana possessions where Michigan appears to have forced the miss, and they don't come up with a defensive board.
Well, the one thing I talked to Brian Ellaby about, he said that was their problem early in the year, is that they did not finish the play. They would play very good defense, as they have here on a number of occasions, and they didn't get the rebound. And in the case of just before that last play, you had Gladness getting his rebound, which was his 9th and a career high. You see, going to the basket is Gladness, and the reason they call that a block is if a guy's in the air, you have to give him the right or the opportunity to come down. If you don't, they'll call that a foul.
Gerard Ward making his way out as Traylor returns. Gladness finding Recker up top, can't get the three. Another offensive rebound. Gladness from Guyton.
Yeah, that's quick attack. Quicker to the ball. If I'm Brian Ellaby, I'm disappointed there. When I talked to Brian Dutcher, their fine assistant, who's been there about 10 years and done a really good job. He thought his team was going to come and play really well here. I think at this point, they've got to be a little disappointed with how they play.
Really disappointed with how the shots aren't falling at the moment. They have missed 8 of their last 9 in this 15-2 run by the Hoosiers.
Think about this, David. When you're beating people as they have for the last 6 games with an average of 27 points a game, the one thing you forget about is how you have to be patient offensively in close games. And conference games, generally speaking, are going to be fairly close.
Beating people like Duke, they seem to do it, 81-73. Murray State, their first defeat. Syracuse by 32, the 3rd worst loss in Jim Boeheim's 22 years at Syracuse. That's what Michigan's capable of.
Yeah, they are, and Indiana's capable of getting to the basket right here. Gladness gets the finish off of a good penetration by A.J. Guyton.
Ward back for Reed.
And they brought Ward in to play a little bit of guard. He's guarding Recker, so they got a bigger lineup with Reed out of the game.
Recker throwing it away to Travis Conlon as he tried to go down on the low block.
So it was a good move because that would have been Reed trying to play defense down there on the post. Instead, it was Gerard Ward.
Traylor had to give it up. Conlon, the open 3 and a 3-second violation before the shot.
The one thing Brian Ellaby had talked about was about how Tractor Traylor had been a lot more patient offensively. He was impatient there, tried to force a shot he didn't have, and got called for 3 seconds.
1 second for each Indiana defender around him. Because 3 of them were combining. Here's Gladness. Forced it up over Traylor. Followed it. More hustle by Gladness, his 11th rebound.
I tell you one thing about him. Traylor just picked up a foul guarding Richardson, a guy that doesn't even score a whole lot. Richardson in 10 minutes has about 5 rebounds, and Traylor picks up a foul, his 4th. He gets the ball inside. He does. He nudges underneath. There's no doubt about it. He's got to understand he will not get the benefit of the doubt on those kind of calls.
And he cannot help when he is not in the game.
No, they've got to take him out. I mean, you're down 13 now. You can't afford to expend him while you're trying to get back in the game. You want him to help you win the game.
Finished both Indiana games with 5 fouls last year. This by far, though, his best performance the last couple of years against the Hoosiers, fouls notwithstanding. And speaking of fouls, that'll be number 4 on Luke Recker.
You know, a guy that plays as hard as Luke Recker, I mean, he picked up his 4th foul, and it's a foul you don't want to have happen. But because he's such an effort player, I mean, that's one of the things you got to put up with. He's just trying to make a good play on the ball. Now he's got to make a smarter play.
Parting word for Charlie Miller, his replacement.
I'll tell you what is interesting about that. That is a freshman telling a senior what you need to do. One of the things he told him to do is to make sure you block out and let's come up with the loose ball. Now, that's pretty interesting when a freshman tells a senior that. A senior should be telling a freshman that. That's what Luke Recker does for this team.
And that's just got to be natural, his natural personality. You can't coach a freshman to already assume that type of leadership, can you?
No, you really can't. Guys, just take it over. You can see him right there telling him to box out. And that's good. I mean, that's a good teammate right there. Just reminding him of what he needs to do.
Aston gets a vote. It's been a constant theme, or at least last year it was, for Bob Knight, the search for leadership. He didn't think he was going to get it from his upperclassmen, but he thought, and it's turned out to be true, he would get it from the freshman class, and particularly from Recker.
Yeah, Recker, and that's usually just because he's confident in what needs to be done. Because that's what leaders really are. They just know what needs to be done. Great.
Lewis, Richardson lost it, got fouled, though. They'll get Reed for the reach.
I mean, the penetration into the paint was pretty promising, and from there to find the guy, Lewis is able to do it. Michigan not finding answers anywhere. You see, turning the corner. He turns the corner. The defense collapsed. You see, Bastion comes up, and all Reed could do was foul. And Richardson, a 62% foul shooter, makes that one.
Unsung hero, probably, for Indiana tonight.
Definitely. I would say he's the sung hero, if you will. He was unsung before now.
We'll sing him.
We'll sing him a little bit, yes, because there's no question he's been huge for them. Patterson's carrying for a while.
This on Larry will be his 3rd, but Patterson has been sitting an awful long time now after he picked up his 4th fouls, and the lead has done nothing but expand with him on the bench.
But that's because of, as you said, Richardson.
That's why we're singing him.
Yeah, we're singing his praises here because he deserves it. Guy come in not expected to play a lot of minutes, and gets in a big game, comes in and plays solidly.
Quiet second half. Gerard Ward scoreless. Baston tying up Richardson. It'll go over to Indiana on the alternating possession. Just a real scoring blackout for the Wolverines. Only 2 have field goals at all this half, and they're Traylor, who's sitting with 4, and Bullard. And their last basket, in fact, came 6 minutes ago almost.
Well, it's not a real mystery if you take this into consideration. They have been an inside-outside team. And if Traylor's in the game and effective inside, the jump shooters, Bullock and Conlon and Reed can play. Without Traylor on the floor, that doesn't matter.
Miller threw it away with 7:39 to go. Hoosiers looking to break their 0-2 start in the Big Ten. Indiana by 12 at the 7:39 mark of the game, 60-48. And so much of this for Michigan frustrating because Robert Traylor is helpless on the bench. 4 fouls, sitting with 16 points, and Indiana has hustled all over the place.
Yeah, you see the block. I think the biggest thing on there are probably those 2 early charges, which takes away a little bit of your offensive aggressiveness. And I think to the degree that Michigan has not gone to the basket is of concern about those offensive fouls.
And for Bullock, a very quiet half, denied the ball by Lewis here, so they go inside and Baston is fouled. Well, that'll be 4 on Richardson, who came in because Patterson had 4.
Yeah, but Bullock is quiet because Traylor's on the bench. And if you're solid inside and you've got a double team, if you ever come off Bullock, he's shown he's got range, he can make the shot. But if Traylor's not in there being effective, unless Bullock puts it on the floor, he doesn't bring his team any offensive value.
Remember, he started this half with real purpose. Came out, bombed into 3, followed that up with a quick bucket. Hasn't been seen or heard from since.
No, and so much so with Traylor on the bench, they're looking to Maceo Baston as a defensive player, rebounder, to be their inside threat to try to open it up.
A.J. Guyton for Richardson. He ought to get a huge ovation.
So they go with a relatively small team, though. And Charlie Miller's 6'6". Richardson is 6'8", so they lose a couple inches on that.
Larry already a career-high 6 boards. That hustle stat we just showed you could have his face on top of it. He's been a great illustration of that. Turner finds Lewis on the baseline.
What a nice play by Lewis. Because I thought he was in traffic. I thought Michigan had that cut off.
Way outside the miss by Reed. And this will be 4 on Gerard Ward.
Yeah, there was no doubt about it. He pushed in the back. I mean, Reed takes, in my opinion, a bad shot. You can't come down and take an L. Brian Ellerby knows that, but he's got to encourage his team to keep playing hard. He's put Traylor back in the game, but Ward pushed on that play in the back.
Just starting to wonder at what point Ellerby would decide that it's teetering on the brink of being completely out of hand, and you might as well get him back in there. So that has, in fact, occurred in his mind.
Yeah, because what he's starting to realize is that Indiana's starting to play well offensively. And then they start getting to the foul line. You know, Indiana's trademark is they normally shoot more free throws than the opposition. They make more free throws than the opposition tries. And I bet we're getting close to that point now.
First point for Charlie Miller. Senior out of Miami. Big scorer in high school, the 3rd leading scorer in the history of Florida, but his role a decreasing one this year, although he draws nothing but praise from Bobby Knight for hard work. Traylor back at it, can't get the roll. Traylor the board.
Came in real aggressively to get that board, and Charlie Miller is getting an applause because at the Kentucky game, Charlie Miller hardly got in. And some of the fans did not like that, made that known, and you'll see him come up aggressively. And this is the fans' way of showing some appreciation for Charlie Miller, who's had 3 good years, though they were not the kind of years that folks expected of him when he got here.
Double bonus in effect for Indiana. And just 3 points per game is his first 3 years. He was between 6 and 8, so it's a big dip.
Well, you're talking about a dip. How about Michigan, 1 of 11 of their last, making 1 field goal in their last 11? That's a dip.
That's an abyss.
Yeah, definitely.
Ward followed up by Traylor, and that's how you end the slump.
That added to the plus side quickly.
Find that high percentage shot. Their field goal drought was 7 minutes and 9 seconds. And Traylor slam ended it. In and out and back in. Miller. Charlie Miller, 6 straight for Indiana. And they busted it wide open. Up 17 points. Under 6 minutes to play. This will be Richardson or Gladness in the matchup with Traylor. William Gladness is third.
You don't block out Charlie Miller. Fresh legs. He's been sitting on the bench. That time, no one blocked him out. A.J. Guyton missed it. Charlie Miller able to come up with it, making a contribution after averaging only about 11 minutes. But he's got fresh legs compared to everybody else. 6 points already.
Traylor's 19-point. Conlon in for the foul-plagued Ward.
You know, you come in here, you look, he's already got 19 points. You got to watch the press at this time, because at some point, you've got to find a way to turn the ball over.
That's not Michigan's strongest suit. They force 14.5 turnovers per game. They commit 18 per game.
Yeah, and they overall turn the ball over more than they assist. Their assist-to-turnover ratio is a negative.
Really the only glaring fault they have on their entire team stat sheet.
What has happened so far this year, there are a lot less unforced errors. That's what they normally get.
Going baseline for the reverse. Guyton.
What a pass by Mike Lewis.
Michigan continuing to try and pound it down low, but frustrated because so many times in the second half, good shots have ended up empty.
They haven't been patient. He traveled. Good call. Yeah, and that's what Brian Ellaby is telling Maceo Baskin, exactly what I said. You got to be patient. You get that one, you got to know when to make the play. Here's a play made right here. Just a great pass, and underneath, even though Traylor, who would have picked up his fifth foul, didn't get there, Guyton gets a basket to go along with 5 assists and 1 turnover.
Fine for him, 13 points. Those other numbers. Over the shoulder catch by Baston and the reverse slam.
From under the basket.
Ending his shooting slump. And he doesn't have many shooting slumps. He is the first Wolverine this half other than Bullock or Traylor to get a bucket. And Lewis gets it right back for Indiana.
They're starting to run a clinic now. Turn the corner as he opened. It helped that he was left-handed coming to his left.
Where they have been so sharp in the second half is guys finding the cutter. Some of the best passing probably all season for them. Off balance, forced up by Bullock.
I would say definitely all season. Having talked to the staff, that's been their biggest concern. Wide open people and nobody making a pass.
72-55 up with a three. Miller. Yeah, he says, finally I get a three. 20-second timeout.
Not only are the fans happy for Charlie Miller, but you can tell his teammates are as well, lining it up with that left hand with the rotation. Knocks it right down. Charlie Miller coming off the bench, giving his team a big lift, making sure the officials counted as 3.
Again, coming up when we finish our business, 3:50 left, all Indiana, since a pretty encouraging start to the second half for both Traylor and Michigan. They pulled even at 44, and they have seen nothing but a Hoosier onslaught since then. Bullock, another force, cleaned up by Traylor.
Yeah, see, once he gets the ball, he's such a big force. As you see, here's the pressure that I talked about after the timeout.
Serving up the alley-oop. Traylor, though, there to foil the plan. And a 2-on-1 for Michigan. Conlon from Bullock.
I mean, I don't know why you're throwing a alley-oop over track to Traylor. Because if you make any contact, he's going to be the beneficiary.
I didn't think they had showtime here. That appeared to be the aim.
Yeah, that little mustard, the little mustard was on that one.
Rob Turner to score. 77-59. Under 3. Both these games last year right down to the wire, and both Indiana victories. One of which they came 20 down in Ann Arbor in the second half, and one of 84-81 and OT right into the hands of Lewis.
He was in the 3-second lane. He had to pass it.
Michigan, which has had its way with its last 6 opponents, rarely challenged, running up against a terrifically executed Indiana plan tonight.
Yeah, they went into an Indiana plan with some time to plan it, which you don't like to give Bob Knight a chance to do.
Bullock. Traylor again. And one.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
man. How at 300 pounds is that physically possible?
I'm telling you, the footwork is incredible. I mean, he gets this thing and just kind of plows through and dunks it back over his head. Big Traylor, don't pull him all along with you. Right here, Bullock takes the shot, and you see Tractor in there just trying to make sure he gets some position. Watch, comes to the other side of the basket, over his head and backwards. Power dunk.
He'll go for the three-point play. 2:06 to go, all Indiana. That's coming up. Robert Traylor will try to complete an astounding three-point play. Trailing by 16, 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go. Has not missed from the line, but one miss. In fact, 5 of 6 free throws. 25 points for the Tractor. A nice hand for William Gladness as he departs along with Traylor.
Yeah, 10 rebounds to go along with those 25 points. So Tractor did about all he could do in timeout because of the double team taken by Charlie Miller.
22nd Indiana timeout.
We talked about Indiana and how effective they've been. And when you're effective moving yourself, you see right here, Michael Lewis will go down and he'll kind of hide himself so Lewis Bullock will have a tough time seeing that pick coming. You see he turns the corner, gets a curl, he goes. Tractor has 4 fouls, does not want to pick up another. Indiana shooting this game 56%. Michigan in their last 6 games have held their opponents to 34%. So obviously Michigan done a poor job in keeping Indiana from making shots.
Long time since they have run up against this type of force. And they've handled teams in their streak with at least comparable, probably in some cases superior talent to Indiana, but not a team that has played at this level tonight.
Now, Indiana may have played as well as they can play. Indiana played really good against Kentucky, but they've played very well. I mean, everybody, think about it. Everyone has contributed at some point on this, and that's what you want in a good team game.
2 on the shot clock before the miss by Patterson. And how many times have we seen that? Guys who sneak from the weak side for offensive boards for Indiana.
Just they've outworked Michigan.
Well, they may go all year and not shoot the way they have tonight, but I think the other aspects are even more impressive.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think that's been a great factor for them tonight.
Winding the shot clock down again to 5 is Guyton. And over to Miller. Brandon Smith went up, got a lot of ball, but they blow the whistle on the freshman out of Amarillo, Texas.
You need to get extra effort when you play against a team that's on the kind of streak that Michigan was. You see the hustle, the 11 offensive rebounds, obviously starting to stand out with the 5 steals, 3 blocks, and the 2 early charges.
A.J. Guyton, a quiet 13 points.
But here's the thing about A.J. Guyton. A.J. Guyton in Peoria was not a point guard. He was a shooting guard, and he's really trying to learn this whole aspect of the point guard mentality, and will admit to you at times he gets a little confused. And tonight, I think he's been able to put a little bit of his ball handling skills as well as his shooting skills together. As you talked about, quiet 13, but finding people to make shots.
Points have been quiet, but a terrific job of blending.
Yes.
And whatever was called for at the moment, the pass, the rebound, the penetration, whatever was needed is what he provided. Deep 3 not there for Reed.
Deep is right. How about Ann Arbor for you?
Robbie Reed just 3 points tonight on a first half 3. Nothing at all this half.
Robbie Reed in a circumstance like this, I mean, you can play a lot of places, but you don't generally play in this kind of atmosphere. I don't care where you've been. Though he started when he was a sophomore at BYU before he went on his 2-year mission.
Welcome back to the big time.
Yeah, hello.
Off balance, and Guyton finds Miller. who adds to his season high. All in the second half for Charlie Miller, 12 points. Well, the last time Indiana started 0-3 in Big Ten play, 71-72. Year one in Bloomington for Bob Knight. They've then won 9 of their last 10 that year, tied for third of the Big Ten. They will not start 0-3 this year.
And a huge win for Bob Knight and his young team. I'm telling you, I thought that Indiana had to win this game if they wanted any chance to be any kind of factor in the Big Ten race going down the stretch.
Indiana going to 10-5 overall. Michigan's 6-game winning streak ending. They are 12-4. Our final, Indiana 80, Michigan 62. For Quinn Buckner, Dave Barnett, thanking you for joining us in Bloomington. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Let's send it back to Chris and Digger.
Well, Dave, thank you very much. Yeah, it's up.
Bob Knight now knows a 2-point loss on the road. I'll have 2 days of focus, and we'll get it done my way. My way was this tonight. Get Traylor out of that block area, get him in foul trouble by beating him to the spot. He had 2 bad offensive fouls trying to get there. Secondly, Richardson, Gladness. Those 2 kids were the spark tonight for Indiana, making defense as well as rebounding. Chris, 11 offensive rebounds. Big win for Bob Knight in the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I mean, great use of the bench. Richardson, not a guy that often contributes a lot. And now we'll have to see what happens with Lewis and Knight getting after each other. We'll see those repercussions.
I think Lewis just said, I'll coach the team on the floor. Just leave me alone. I'll get it done.
Not bad for a sophomore.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Then the big...
.0-3. The year was 1971. Indiana went 17-8 that season and settled for an NIT bid. This year's Hoosiers look to avoid their own three-peat tonight when Michigan knocked on the door at Assembly. Bob Knight saying hello to Brian Ellerby for the first time. First half, Andre Patterson. Patterson had 21, including the 3 here. Indiana led by 7 early. Still in the first half. Watch Michael Lewis, number 24, is back to the ball. Travis Conlon scores right over him. On Lewis's way back down the court, Coach Knight has something to say about his defense. Lewis is not happy. During the timeout, Lewis talks back to Coach Knight. That's not good. Knight rips into Lewis. Charlie Miller holds Lewis back, and then Knight gives him the stare. Lewis did not play the rest of the game. Hoosiers up by 11 second half. Luke Recker with a miss. A.J. Guyton, the rebound, looking for William Gladness. Indiana goes on to win it by the final of 80-60.